Blacksun Private Equity Inc. presents The Convergence Empire. One thing, every major company, every streaming platform, every advertiser on earth is spending billions trying to get it. You cannot manufacture it. You cannot automate it. You cannot fake it. It is the attention of a human being, fully present, completely focused, not scrolling, not distracted. There is only one place in the world that commands that kind of attention every day, in every country, across every culture: sports. You cannot record sports and watch it later. You cannot skip to the end. Everyone watches live. Because if you don't, someone tells you what happened. Live sports is the last appointment on earth. Blacksun Private Equity is building the platform that owns it. Let's talk about money, specifically what sports franchises are worth. In 2010, the average NFL team was worth about $1 billion. Today, the Dallas Cowboys, $10.1 billion. They haven't won a Super Bowl since 1996. Doesn't matter. Hundreds of millions of people love them or hate them, and either way, they can't stop watching. The Los Angeles Lakers sold in 2025 for $10 billion, the single most valuable sports team sale in history. The New York Knicks, $8.3 billion. Up until this year, 2026, the last time they won a championship was 1973. 53 years. And in every one of those 53 years, their valuation kept climbing. Not because they were winning, but because there is only one NBA team in New York. There will only ever be one. That is what makes it priceless. And now that they have won again, that value is only going one direction. That is the key to understanding sports as an investment. There are only 32 NFL teams, only 30 NBA teams. Nobody is creating new ones. The owners almost never sell. When something is rare, in massive demand, and almost never available, the price only goes one direction, up. And now, for the first time, private investment firms are allowed to own pieces of these teams. Over 2/3 of NBA teams already have private investors behind them. 35% of elite European football clubs. Every major North American league has opened the door. The smartest money in the world has recognized this. The question is no longer whether to invest in sports. The question is, who is building the smartest platform to do it? The answer is Blacksun. Most investment funds that get into sports do the same thing. They buy a small piece of a team, they sit back, they wait for the value to go up, then they sell. That works, but it leaves most of the money on the table. Blacksun is doing something completely different. Think about what actually makes a sports franchise valuable: the games themselves, the broadcast rights, the merchandise, the apps, the streaming, the sponsorships, the fan communities, the player brands. Every dollar a fan spends on tickets, jerseys, subscriptions, pay-per-view, merchandise. Every single one of those dollars flows through someone else's platform. Most funds just own the team. They don't own those platforms. Blacksun owns those platforms. Layer 1, the sports properties. The leagues, the teams, the live events, the content that drives everything else. Nobody can replicate it because Blacksun is building it. Layer 2, the media network. Blacksun owns the channels that broadcast its sports: television, radio, streaming, satellite, no middlemen. Every dollar of broadcast revenue stays inside the platform. Layer 3, the creator economy engine. The biggest sports stars today are not just athletes, they are content creators with tens of millions of followers. Blacksun is building a network of the world's top creators, partnering with them directly, not paying them to advertise, building businesses with them, turning their audiences into Blacksun's audiences. Layer 4, the financial infrastructure. One of Blacksun's most strategic planned acquisitions is a federally licensed FDIC insured digital bank, a nationally chartered community development financial institution with over $852 million in total assets. This acquisition will be completed after capital is raised. Once owned, It becomes the payment backbone for the entire Blacksun platform. Every ticket purchase, every merchandise order, every fan subscription processed through Blacksun's own banking system. We don't just watch the money move, we move the money, and we keep the margin that every other fund sends to a third party. These four pieces work together. Each one makes the others more valuable. The sports content fills the media channels. The media channels grow the fan base. The creator network amplifies everything. The banking infrastructure captures every transaction. One fan, one ecosystem. Every dollar it captured. That is not just an investment, that is a machine. Beyond the leagues, Blacksun is building from the ground up. Blacksun is also acquiring direct ownership stakes in established professional sports teams around the world. Not small pieces bought through a middleman, not advisory roles, real equity, real ownership in some of the most valuable sports franchises on earth. Here's what that looks like. In professional American football, Blacksun is engaged in a formal ownership evaluation of one of the NBA's most recognized franchises. A 20 to 25% ownership stake is under active review, supported by an advisor who has successfully gone through the NBA's ownership approval process 4 separate times. In the NFL, Blacksun is actively evaluating professional football ownership opportunities. No formal offer has been made at this stage, but NFL franchise ownership is a strong area of consideration and sits within Blacksun's active deal pipeline. A pipeline that spans professional team opportunities across some of the world's most popular and commercially powerful sports leagues. As capital is raised and deployed, Blacksun is positioned to move decisively when the right opportunity is confirmed. Internationally, a signed agreement for a nearly 1/3 ownership stake in a professional football club in the United Kingdom, valued at £50 million. This club is also the first partner in Blacksun's Global Football League expansion, and Blacksun is actively monitoring opportunities to acquire stakes in professional teams across the Premier League, La Liga, Major League Soccer, Major League Baseball, the NBA, and other top leagues worldwide as they become available. Why does this matter? Because a sports team is not just a team. It is a media company, a real estate asset, a global brand, a community, a 365-day-a-year revenue engine. And inside the Blacksun ecosystem, each team we own is amplified by the media network, the creator engine, and the banking infrastructure surrounding it. The team gets more valuable, and Blacksun captures more of that value. That is the difference between owning a seat at the table and owning the table. In addition to the teams Blacksun is acquiring, Blacksun is building 3 entirely original sports platforms from scratch. These are leagues, events, and media properties that Blacksun is creating. No one else owns them. No one else can buy them. They generate content. They generate fan bases. They generate revenue. And they feed directly into the Blacksun media creator and banking infrastructure. Combat sports are one of the fastest growing entertainment categories in the world, and the reason is simple. A new generation of fans grew up watching fighters on YouTube and social media. When those fighters finally stepped into a ring, fans bought pay-per-view events by the millions. The proof: one fight card featuring social media personalities sold out a 90,000-seat stadium in Dallas and broke streaming records on one of the world's biggest platforms in a single night. Blacksun saw this coming. Knockout Fights is the platform being built to own this moment. Live boxing, MMA, celebrity fight nights, streaming in over 200 countries. 2 signature programming formats: Tijuana, Fight Night, a live fight series produced in Mexico with Sports World Network and promoter Roberto Prado. Real fighters, real crowds, built to develop the next generation of Latin American boxing champions for a global audience. World's Greatest Boxer, a premium competition series where the world's best up-and-coming fighters live and train together, coached by legendary world champions. Think of it as the ultimate sports reality format, building toward a live world title fight. The show that discovers boxing's next superstar. Note, specific talent is still being confirmed. Beyond the events, gym franchises, merchandise, video game deals, digital collectibles. Target value, $2.5 billion within 5 years. Led by Roy Jones Jr., widely regarded as one of the greatest boxers who ever lived. 4 world championship titles, 66 wins, 47 knockouts. The 1988 Olympic gold standard, it takes a champion to build one. Roy Jones Jr. is not just a name on a marquee, he is a winner. And winners build things that last. He is not lending his name to a brand, he is building it. Here is the biggest opportunity in sports, and nobody has acted on it until Blacksun. On one side of the world, American football. The NFL makes $23 billion a year. A single 30-second Super Bowl ad costs $7 million. An NFL team costs between $8 and $10 billion. And yet, the NFL's entire business happens inside one country. To be fair, the NFL has tried to change that. Games at Wembley Stadium in London have sold out 90,000 seats. Games in Madrid. Games in Mexico City. Games in Frankfurt. The NFL has made a genuine effort to plant its flag internationally, and those moments have generated real excitement. But here is the honest truth. After more than a decade of international games, the NFL's global footprint is still largely symbolic. A handful of games per year in foreign stadiums does not build the infrastructure of a global league. It builds a tourist attraction. Fans in London and Madrid love the spectacle, but they do not yet have a team to call their own. They do not have a local identity, a local rivalry, a local reason to show up every week. The NFL's international ambitions have been real. The pace of progress has been slow, and that gap between what the NFL is worth commercially and what it has been able to achieve globally is exactly where World American Football League lives. On the other side of the world, global soccer. 5 billion people follow soccer. The World Cup final draws 1.5 billion viewers for one game. The English Premier League broadcasts in 212 countries. When Liverpool plays Manchester City on a regular Saturday afternoon, 700 million people watch. Soccer has the whole world. American football has the money. Neither has ever been able to fully access what the other possesses until now. That is the World American Football League idea. Take the money-making engine of American football, place it inside the global reach of the world's most beloved soccer clubs: Real Madrid, Manchester United, FC Barcelona, Bayern Munich, clubs with hundreds of millions of fans who have followed them for generations. Launch an American football team under each club's name, colors, and badge. The club's fans immediately become the football team's fans. No years of brand building required, no starting from zero. Built-in audiences of tens of millions from day one. This is not a new idea. Real Madrid has run a professional basketball team under its soccer brand for decades. FC Barcelona too. They use the same logo, the same colors, the same fan loyalty. World American Football League applies that same model to American football, globally, for the first time. And here is the deal for the soccer clubs. They put in zero money up front. Blacksun finances each team through a $250 million funding structure. The club receives $100 million in startup money. Their existing soccer business is completely protected. In return, they get a new professional American football team, a new revenue stream, and a direct share of the World American Football League platform. Simple, lucrative, zero risk to the club. The league, 32 teams, 20 in the United States, 12 international, U.S. cities: New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Dallas, Miami, Atlanta, Houston, Phoenix, San Francisco, Washington, D.C., Las Vegas, San Diego, Denver, St. Louis, Detroit, Tampa, Nashville, New Orleans, Columbus, San Antonio, international markets: United Kingdom, Spain, Germany, Eastern Europe, Saudi Arabia and the UAE, Africa, China, Brazil, Mexico, Canada. Phase 2, 8 more cities within 5 years: Lagos, Cape Town, Milan, Seoul, Sydney, Shanghai, Moscow, Singapore, and within the United States. A long-term plan to partner with major college football programs in markets like Ann Arbor, Austin, Tuscaloosa, and Baton Rouge. Places where college football already draws NFL-sized television audiences every week. At the top of the league, the World American Football League World Bowl, American football's first true global championship, played in the world's greatest stadiums, broadcast across every continent, with a goal to partner with FIFA to make the World American Football League World Bowl the biggest American football event outside the United States. The Super Bowl owns America. The World American Football League World Bowl is built to own the world. And one more thought worth leaving with you. World American Football League is not being built in opposition to the NFL. It is being built in parallel. Occupying the global territory the NFL has not yet been able to claim at scale. But as World American Football League grows, as its franchise network expands, as its international fan base deepens, and as its media and revenue infrastructure reaches institutional scale, the conversation changes. A league that has successfully built American football franchises inside Real Madrid, Manchester United, and FC Barcelona, with tens of millions of new fans across Europe, Africa, Asia, and Latin America, becomes something the National Football League cannot ignore. It becomes something the National Football League may want to work with. Down the road, as World American Football League reaches the scale this platform is being built to achieve, there may well be an opportunity for formal collaboration, or even a joint venture with the National Football League itself. Not a takeover, not a competition, a partnership between the world's most profitable domestic sports league and the global infrastructure it has never been able to build on its own. That conversation does not happen today, but the platform that makes it possible is being built right now. And Blacksun is building it, led by Gary Clark, NFL legend, two-time Super Bowl champion, four-time Pro Bowler, one of the greatest wide receivers in Washington, Commanders history. As president of the World American Football League, Gary Clark brings the credibility, the relationships, and the lived experience of professional football at its highest level to the leadership of a league being built to take American football global. Before an athlete reaches the NBA, the NFL, or the World American Football League, they pass through a moment that no professional league has ever owned. A Friday night, a hometown stadium, a young person competing at the highest level they have ever reached before Santi, before anyone in the professional world knows their name. That moment is the most emotional content in American sports, and nobody has ever built a platform to own it until now. The High School Sports League, HSL, is Blacksun's grassroots development platform. The structured pipeline that discovers, develops, broadcasts, and builds the next generation of professional sports stars, feeding directly into the NBA, the NFL, and the World American Football League. Think of it this way. The NBA has the G League, the NFL has college football, the World American Football League has the High School Sports League. Blacksun gets to these athletes before anyone else does, before the agents, before the endorsements, before the college recruiters, before the pro scouts. The HSL is where careers begin, and Blacksun owns the broadcast rights, the content archive, and the sponsorship platform from that very first Friday night. 2 national championship events anchor the calendar. The USA Bowl, the National High School Football Championship, the most important prep football game in the country. A nationally broadcast event that introduces the next wave of NFL and World American Football League draft and prospects to the world. The Fast Break Finals, the National High School Basketball Championship, the premier stage for the nation's most elite prep basketball talent, the event that showcases the next generation of NBA stars before they ever play a college game. Broadcast rights, sponsorships, video game deals, merchandise, trading cards. The athlete who becomes the next great NBA or NFL or World American Football League star will have a Blacksun highlight reel from when they were 17 years old. That content becomes more valuable every time the athlete does. HSL is not just a high school sports league. It is the most strategic talent pipeline in professional sports, and Blacksun owns it. Now, let's talk about you. Most people who invest in a fund do it the same way. You put in money. The fund manages it. If everything goes well, you get your money back, plus a return. You are a passenger. You benefit when the fund performs. You wait. You collect. That is one way to participate. But there is another way, a better way, a way that most people never get access to. Here is the difference. The people who run the fund managers, earn money in two ways. First, a management fee, typically around 2% of the total fund size, paid every year just to manage the money. On a $7 billion fund, that is $140 million per year. Second, a share of the profits. When the fund makes money above a guaranteed minimum return for investors, the managers take a share, typically around 20% of those profits. That is what it means to be a fund manager. You earn fees, you earn profit shares, and the company you run, the management company itself, becomes more valuable the bigger and more successful the fund becomes. That is real wealth, not just a return on a check, a compounding ownership position in a growing platform. Historically, only 3 types of people have ever accessed this level: the fund founders themselves, the world's largest institutions, sovereign wealth funds, major university endowments, and specialized investment firms whose entire business is acquiring pieces of fund management companies. Blacksun is opening that level to qualified investors now through its GP Stakes offering. Think of it this way: most investors buy a ticket to ride the train. GP Stakes investors own a piece of the railroad. You are not buying a return, you are buying the engine. Here is exactly what the Blacksun GP Stakes offering looks like. You are investing in Blacksun GP Holdings LLC, the company that manages the fund. When that company earns fees and profit shares from a $7 billion fund, you participate. The investment is offered as Class B units, an ownership share in the management company. Total available up to $110 million. Before fund managers take any share of the profits, investors receive a guaranteed minimum return of 10% per year. That is 2 percentage points higher than what most comparable funds offer. After that, the guaranteed return is fully paid. Fund managers earn a profit share that increases the better the fund performs, starting at 20%, rising to 30% if the fund delivers strong returns, rising to 40% only if the fund delivers outstanding returns. In other words, the better the fund does, the more everyone wins. Entry points: $1 million and above for institutions and family offices, $100,000 for qualified individual investors, $10,000 for founding circle members by invitation. Target annual returns, 20 to 25%. Target total return on investment, 2.5 to 3.5 times your money. Fund life, 10 years. First close target, $250 to $300 million. Available to verified accredited investors only under SEC private placement rules. A special investment structure for Gulf region and Islamic finance investors is available on request. Here is one of the most important things to understand about how Blacksun is structured, and how it is different from almost every traditional private equity fund you have ever seen. In a typical private equity fund, your money is locked up for 8 to 10 years. The fund buys companies, builds them, and eventually sells them at the end of the fund's life. You wait, you hope, and when the fund finally closes, you get your money back, plus whatever return was generated. That model works, but it requires patience most people do not have, and locks up capital that could be doing more. Blacksun's approach is fundamentally different. It is built around a strategy called ROSO. ROSO stands for Roll Up, Spin Out. Here's how it works. Blacksun rolls up a collection of complementary assets: sports leagues, media platforms, broadcast networks, financial infrastructure, e-commerce, into a unified, integrated platform. As individual components of that platform mature and reach scale, Blacksun spins them out as standalone public companies. through SPAC IPOs and de-SPAC transactions on major stock exchanges. What does that mean for you as an investor? It means you do not have to wait 8 to 10 years to see liquidity. As Blacksun's media assets reach scale, they can be spun out and listed publicly. As World American Football League builds its franchise base, it can be taken public through an SPAC. As the banking infrastructure grows, it can be recapitalized or listed independently. Each spin-out creates a liquidity event, a moment where value is crystallized and investors can realize returns, years before a traditional fund would ever close. Blacksun already has a signed engagement with a leading capital markets firm for a $100 million SPAC IPO, targeting NASDAQ. That is not a plan. That is a signed document, a public listing vehicle in motion, designed to deliver liquidity to investors as a natural milestone of building this platform, not as a distant finish line. Traditional private equity makes you wait for the end. Blacksun is building liquidity into the journey. That is the ROSO advantage, and it is one of the most investor-friendly structures in the alternative investment space today. This is a rare opportunity. The platform is being built right now. The door will not stay open. For investors in the Gulf Cooperation Council, Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Kuwait, Qatar, Bahrain, and Oman, Blacksun has secured an exclusive partnership with one of the most powerful capital-raising firms in the world. Greenstone Equity Partners. Founded in 2011 and headquartered in Dubai, Greenstone is the largest fund placement firm in the Middle East. Not one of the largest, the largest. They are the only institutional-grade placement firm headquartered inside the GCC, and they have spent 15 years building the deepest, most trusted investor relationships in the region. The numbers tell the story. Over 200 GCC-based institutional investors in their network. Over 1,500 family offices and ultra-high net worth individuals. More than 1,700 investor relationships in total, spanning sovereign wealth funds, pension funds, insurance companies, financial institutions, and private family capital spanning the entire Gulf region. Their fund manager partners currently represent over $600 billion in combined assets under management. Since inception, Greenstone represented funds have raised over $100 billion across private equity, venture capital, private credit, infrastructure, real estate, and hedge funds. They are ranked number 6 globally in Preqin's league tables among more than 1,400 placement firms worldwide, and they achieved that ranking raising capital exclusively inside the GCC. Named top placement agent by Institutional Investor magazine, operating across 8 offices in 5 GCC countries with a recently expanded presence inside the Dubai International Financial Center. For Blacksun, Greenstone holds the exclusive mandate to raise the Blacksun Mega Fund one offering across the Gulf region, distributing to GCC sovereign wealth funds, institutional family offices, and the world's most significant pools of long-duration private capital. The GCC is home to some of the largest and most active sovereign wealth funds on Earth, including the Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, Mubadala Investment Company, and Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, which deployed $36.2 billion in investments in 2025 alone. These institutions are not passive allocators. They are among the most sophisticated, most long-term oriented, and most strategically aligned investors in global private markets. And Greenstone has the relationships, earned over 15 years, to place Blacksun directly in front of them. For GCC and Islamic finance investors, a Sharia-compliant investment structure is available through a Cayman Islands feeder vehicle with full Islamic finance documentation. Greenstone does not just open doors in the Gulf. They are the door. Every great investment comes down to one question. Do you believe in the team? Here is the Blacksun team. Atan F. Muhammad, founder, chairman, and chief executive officer. His story begins on the field, not in a boardroom. A former University of Miami Hurricanes football player, Muhammad carries the competitive instincts of a Division I athlete into every deal he touches. After his playing career, he built the second foundation at Morgan Stanley as a wealth manager, developing the capital markets expertise and investor relationships that now drive Blacksun's deal architecture. He is not a traditional fund manager. He is a builder. It was Muhammad who conceived the Blacksun thesis, identifying the convergence of sports, media, financial infrastructure, and the creator economy as the defining investment opportunity of this era. He designed the four-silo platform structure, selected the specific asset categories, and determined the deal sequencing that forms the portfolio's foundation. Working alongside co-founder Neri Gomez, he personally recruited the CIO and assembled an advisory board chosen not for reputation, but for direct, specific overlap with the exact assets Blacksun is acquiring. Before the fund opened for investment, Muhammad had already moved, securing signed agreements across broadcast media, real estate, international professional sports, e-commerce infrastructure, digital content distribution, and a public market listing vehicle. Deals spanning multiple countries, multiple asset classes, and multiple deal structures, all executed before a single investor dollar was committed. The platform was not pitched, it was built. Atan Muhammad is a builder. Neri Gomez, founder, president, and chief operating officer. Neri Gomez brings something rare to a platform of this complexity, a mind that operates at the intersection of capital and human performance. He is a founder, investor, and trusted advisor whose approach combines financial discipline with the kind of clarity and judgment that keeps large, multifaceted organizations moving with purpose. As an entrepreneur, Gomez has built multiple institutions from the ground up, including Manhattan Beach Advisors LLC, Illumination Holdings LLC, and Elevation Consulting Group, spanning private equity, advisory, and human capital development. He serves as a member of the Board of Trustees at Dean College in Franklin, Massachusetts. At Blacksun, he is the operational architect. He co-founded the platform alongside Atan Muhammad and has been central to the assembly of the team, the structuring of the fund, and the day-to-day execution that turns a bold vision into a functioning enterprise. Running a platform that spans sports, media, banking, and e-commerce simultaneously demands someone who can hold multiple, complex systems in motion at once, without losing precision, pace, or purpose. Neri Gomez is that person. Chunga Clinton Ingram, Chief Investment Officer. To understand what Chunga Ingram brings to Blacksun, you first need to understand where he comes from. The Abu Dhabi Investment Authority, ADIA, is one of the largest and most powerful sovereign wealth funds on earth, with total assets under management estimated at $1.128 trillion. It invests on behalf of the government of Abu Dhabi across every major asset class in virtually every country in the world. It is not a private equity fund. It is not a family office. It is the institutional gold standard of global investment management. Chunga Ingram spent 18 years inside that institution, and the responsibilities he held there are unlike anything you will find behind any emerging fund manager operating today. He began overseeing long-only external investment mandates across North America, Latin America, and emerging markets, managing growth, value, quantitative, and passive strategies across portfolios reaching $60 billion. He drafted and enforced the investment guidelines that govern how those mandates were run. He conducted operational due diligence on external fund managers. He built ADIA's enterprise-wide investment contract function, leading negotiations with fund managers, brokers, hedge funds, and custodians across the globe, and standardizing the legal frameworks that govern hundreds of billions in institutional transactions. He then moved into enterprise risk, developing cross-departmental risk governance frameworks, building private equity due diligence programs, and serving as business continuity committee coordinator across an institution managing $500 billion across 176 jurisdictions simultaneously. His final role at ADIA was Senior Manager of Regulatory Risk and Compliance, overseeing investment compliance across 176 countries, running OFAC and KYC programs,
managing beneficial ownership reporting, and building compliance automation systems for global equity and futures portfolios. His academic credentials match his professional record: a law degree, an MBA, and executive programs at Harvard Business School, Wharton, INSEAD, the Swiss Finance Institute, and the University of Chicago Booth. Now, consider what this means for Blacksun. Most emerging fund managers have spent their careers at mid-sized firms, managing hundreds of millions at best. They are learning institutional governance as they go. They are building compliance infrastructure from scratch. They are developing investor relationships that take years to mature. Chunga Ingram has already done all of that, at the highest level the investment world has ever produced. He knows how sovereign wealth funds think because he worked inside one for nearly 2 decades. He knows what institutional due diligence looks like because he conducted it thousands of times. He knows how to structure compliance across dozens of jurisdictions because he built those systems for one of the most complex investment portfolios in history. That is not a credential. That is a structural advantage. When Blacksun sits across the table from a sovereign wealth fund, a major family office, or a GCC institutional investor, the person evaluating our fund on the other side of that table has a peer in this room. Someone who has operated at their level, someone who speaks their language, understands their requirements, and has spent 18 years earning the kind of trust that cannot be manufactured. Every investment decision Blacksun makes goes through Chunga Ingram. When he says a deal makes sense, it has been stress tested at the highest level the investment world has to offer.
Behind these 3 principles, a board of advisors who did not just work near these industries, they built the specific businesses Blacksun is now building. Ross Levinson, Blacksun's proposed Chief Executive Officer of the Master Holding Company. Ross ran Yahoo as its interim CEO and head of global media through a $4.8 billion acquisition by Verizon, managing institutional investors, brand continuity, and one of the most complex corporate transactions in digital media history. He then served as CEO of the Arena Group on the New York Stock Exchange, operating Sports Illustrated, Parade, Men's Journal, and over 40 media brands with full public company reporting and institutional shareholder oversight. Before that, he was CEO of Guggenheim Digital Media, managing Billboard, The Hollywood Reporter, and Dick Clark Productions, and president of Fox Interactive Media, overseeing MySpace, IGN, and Rotten Tomatoes. He has managed some of the most famous media companies in the world through acquisitions, public listings, and digital transformations. He has done the exact job Blacksun needs done, and done it at a level very few media executives in the world can match. Sean Carey, Streaming and Content Architecture. Sean built Crackle, one of the world's first on-demand video streaming platforms, from the ground up in 2007 at Sony Pictures Television. He then joined Netflix and personally led its international content launch into the Nordic countries, Australia, and New Zealand, building the programming strategy for one of the most important expansions in streaming history. He later served as SVP of Corporate Development at Sony Corporation, where he advised on the $8.45 billion Amazon acquisition of MGM. The streaming infrastructure Blacksun is building for its sports content, Sean built the original version of it. Not a similar version, this one. Scott Royster, Broadcast Finance and African Sports Infrastructure. Scott served as Chief Financial Officer of Urban One, the largest African-American-owned broadcast company in the United States, where he raised over $3 billion in institutional capital and was recognized as Broadcasting CFO of the Year. He is also a direct investor in Rainbow Sports Group, a sports enterprise operating across 25 countries in Africa that discovers, develops, and represents elite African football talent while connecting to government sports ministries and corporate sponsors across the continent. That network gives World American Football League embedded access to African markets, that would otherwise take years and significant capital to build. Scott also served on the board of directors of RLJ Entertainment, part of the media and entertainment enterprise founded by Robert L. Johnson, who created Black Entertainment Television. Joe Abrams, Platform Building and M&A. Joe co-founded Intermix Media, the parent company of MySpace, and sold it to News Corporation for $580 million in 2005. He also co-founded the Software Toolworks, which was acquired by Pearson for $462 million. Over $1 billion in platform exits. He knows how to build an audience platform from nothing, scale it to tens of millions of users, and sell it to the world's biggest buyers. That is the same playbook Blacksun is running with its creator economy and sports media platforms. Veda O, Manager, NBA Ownership and Corporate Governance. Veda is the founder and CEO of Manager Global Holdings, a private equity firm focused on sports, hospitality, real estate, and technology. He currently holds active ownership stakes in 4 NBA franchises: the Sacramento Kings, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Atlanta Hawks, and the Charlotte Hornets. He has gone through the NBA's ownership approval process, one of the most complex and relationship-intensive processes in professional sports, 4 separate times as a direct participant and investor. Nobody on any competing platform has done this more than once. Veda has done it 4 times. He also served on the board of directors of Valvoline Inc., the globally recognized petroleum and automotive services company, bringing corporate governance experience at Fortune company scale. Alice Alston, private equity operations, brand building, and global luxury leadership. Alice served as CEO and president of portfolio companies for Fenway Partners Private Equity, a middle-market PE firm that owns some of the most recognizable branded consumer companies in America. One of those companies was Riddell, the #1 football helmet brand in the United States and the official helmet of the NFL. That experience is directly relevant to World American Football League's player safety standards and equipment strategy. She also served as CEO of the De Beers and LVMH joint venture, one of the most prestigious luxury brand operations in the world, bringing the same business discipline to a global luxury diamond brand that Blacksun is applying to its sports and entertainment platform. And at Condé Nast, Alice led the launch of O, the Oprah magazine, the largest and most successful magazine launch in the history of American publishing. The magazine generated record revenue in its very first year of existence. She grew W magazine revenue by 100% during her leadership. Alice has done something rare. She has delivered real financial results at institutional scale inside the exact type of private equity platform Blacksun is building. And she has done it across sports equipment, global luxury, and media all at once. Roy Jones Jr., president of Knockout Fights, 4-time world champion, the global face and standard of combat sports. Gary Clark, NFL legend, 2-time Super Bowl champion, 4-time Pro Bowler, president of the World American Football League, one of the greatest wide receivers in Washington Commanders history, and now the executive leader of World American Football League, the league Blacksun is building to take American football to the world. These people did not advise on businesses like Blacksun's. They built them from scratch at the highest level. The team is the assets. John Godina, founding team member and managing director, Blacksun Private Equity. John Godina is one of the most accomplished athletes in the history of American sport and one of the most innovative minds in elite athlete development that the sports world has ever produced. His competitive record is extraordinary. A 4-time world champion in the shot put, winning gold at the 1995, 1997, and 2001 Outdoor World Championships, and the 2001 Indoor World Championship. a three-time Olympian, silver medalist at the 1996 Atlanta Olympic Games, bronze medalist at the 2000 Sydney Olympic Games, the first American athlete in 72 years to qualify for the Olympics in both the shot put and discus, a five-time NCAA champion and 11-time All-American at UCLA, where he still holds school and conference records, a two-time recipient of the Jesse Owens Award, presented to the outstanding male track and field performer in the United States, inducted into the UCLA Athletics Hall of Fame in 2005. But what John Godina built after his playing career may be even more consequential. After retiring from professional competition, Godina founded Altus, a world-class elite athlete training organization that redefined what high-performance sports development could look like. Altus combined elite athlete training, a comprehensive coaches education system, and nationwide youth development camps into a single, integrated performance institution. The results speak for themselves. Altus sent 17 athletes to the World Championships and returned with 5 medals. It sent 21 athletes to the Rio de Janeiro Olympic Games and brought home 5 medals from those games as well. Under Godina's leadership, Altus became one of the most respected athlete development organizations in the world, training elite performers across multiple track and field disciplines and producing champions at the highest levels of international competition. As a founding team member and managing director of Blacksun, Godina brings this rare combination: competitive excellence at the Olympic level and institutional expertise in elite athlete development directly into the platform's DNA. His role spans the full Blacksun sports ecosystem. For the HSL, the pipeline that identifies and develops the next generation of professional sports stars for the NBA, the NFL, and the World American Football League, Godina brings a development philosophy built and proven at the Olympic level. For World American Football League, a league that will recruit and develop elite athletic talent across 32 international franchises, he brings the methodology, the relationships, and the credibility that only a 4-time world champion who built a global training institution can provide. It takes a champion to build champions. John Godina has done both. We want to be straight with you. This opportunity carries risk. Building a platform this ambitious, from leagues to media to banking, takes execution, time, and capital. Not everything will go exactly as planned. We are not pretending otherwise. What we will tell you, clearly and with signed agreements already on the table, is this: the sports industry has never been more valuable. The media landscape has never needed live content more. The next generation of fans has never been more connected or more willing to spend. And the technology to build a global sports media and payments platform has never been more accessible. All of that is happening right now, not in 10 years, now. The team Blacksun is assembling has built these businesses before. Not businesses like them, these exact businesses. At sovereign wealth level, at major media company level, at professional sports ownership level. The opportunity to invest at the management company level, to own a piece of the engine, not just a ticket to ride, is available now, at the earliest stage of a platform targeting $7 billion in total investment. Consider billion in total investment. Consider this: Amazon was once just a website that sold books. Netflix used to mail DVDs to your house. 20 years ago, the English Premier League's international broadcast rights were nearly worthless. Today, they are worth billions annually. The people who recognized those opportunities early, while everyone else was still deciding, built generational wealth. Blacksun is building the platform that brings sports, media, technology, and finance together at the exact moment the world is demanding exactly that. This is not just a fund. This is the infrastructure of a dominant new force in global sports, media, and financial capital. And we are inviting you to build it with us. If you would like to learn more, please contact us below.